Yes, guys. So today we've got the pleasure of having Sam with us. So I'm excited to hear her journey and how she's getting on in her business. Good
Hello,
morning. Hi. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Bit tired, but I've got my coffee. So
I'm awake because I've been awake since 6, so I'm already ready for a nap.
wicked. So you've been doing a few calls already then?
Yeah, I got to walk the dog, and then I have a call with hand pickup. I don't know if you've come across her in the Evolve community,
No, not yet.
um, but we're accountability partners. So every Monday we just jump on a call and basically chat about how things are going and stuff.
Right. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So you're already fired up then. That's good.
Already fired up.
Amazing. Right. Well, we've got 40 minutes today, so yeah, we'll just jump straight into it. I'll just go straight into the question. So, give us a general overview of who you are, what you do, and the community that you're a part of.
So yeah, my name's Sam, and I am part of the Evolve community, and I'm an ex-primary school teacher, now high-ticket affiliate marketer.
Very concise, wicked. You've been practicing that, haven't you?
I have, yeah. It
Yeah.
sounds so weird saying it still. Like I'm so used to for 10 years going, oh, I'm a primary school teacher. So it
Yeah.
still sounds strange to me that I can say I'm an ex-teacher. It's really weird.
Yeah, you've got your elevator pitch down. That's really
I have.
good. How long have you been doing affiliate marketing?
So I actually started beginning of last August. So I've been doing it for just over a year, really, which has gone so fast. But I'd actually been following my mentor for a while, like
Yeah.
for a good few years,
Right.
and she was living the van life, and I wanted that kind of freedom too. Very much stuck in teaching, knew that I wanted a way out, and so eventually reached out to her and yeah, got started last August. Had absolutely no experience
Yeah.
and no idea what high ticket affiliate marketing was, but just knew that I definitely needed a way out of the situation that I was in.
Nikki, your mentor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nikki was my mentor, yeah, or is my mentor.
You've come such a long way by the look of it, looking at your Instagram page just in as short space of time. It's just a testament, isn't it, like to, what you can achieve, I guess, I mean, I'm looking
Yeah,
at
it
your page, I'm looking at your camper van, I'm thinking like you're doing really well by the look of it.
yeah, literally I for as long as I remember having a camper van and being able to kind of travel around the UK was always my dream, but I literally just thought it was a dream. I knew that I'd probably have a camper van in the future, but it was always just going to be for weekend trips because obviously I was working full
Yeah,
time. Like there was no way I was going to be able to go and do long trips in it. And I'd always be counting down to the weekend or counting down to the half term holidays.
right.
So it was always just kind of like a dream. Like I knew I wanted it, but I never really believed that it was going to be my reality, I guess.
Yeah. What was the sort of like to piggyback off of that was like the sort of turning point for you that made you sort of think like, yeah, I want to sort of change what I'm previously doing into what you're currently doing.
It was quite a dramatic one, really. I had a car accident at the end of October 2022, which then kind of was the beginning of a year and a half, 2 years of pretty severe chronic illness. Um, I was bedbound or housebound for a lot of that time, and I'd gone from being a healthy 28-year-old, full time teaching, had my own house, in a relationship, to everything kind of changing, and went down the whole route of doctors and the NHS, and they didn't have the answers for chronic illness because it's kind of very understood in that world that it's incurable and you learn to manage the symptoms.
Right.
And I don't know, something just thankfully, something in me kind of, I was like, well, I've gone from 28 years of being healthy and nothing wrong with me to having all of these symptoms. And it just didn't make sense. So I kind of went into researching it and luckily found somebody who had pretty much an identical story to me, who had managed to heal herself through the mind body connection and
Yeah.
essentially getting out of fight or flight. Because basically what had happened is through my relationship not being great and like a stressful career and all of the rest of it, putting myself under so much pressure. The car accident was like the final straw, and it had just like opened up this cascade of symptoms and chronic illness. And so by reducing that fight or flight and overwhelm and the fear surrounding it, I kind of, that's how I was able to recover. And it was as I was starting to recover, I kind of had this thought of, if I can get through the last year and a half, which was the scariest of my life, and I'm actually now, I know I'm going to recover and I can see a way out, there's no way that I'm going back to a life that didn't make me happy. And so that was it. I was like, if I can do that, I can do anything.
Yeah, 100%. It's, wow, so transformative an experience, as much like adversity as you went through there, like, it just sounds brilliant the way that you've managed.
I think I always say now, like, and it sounds so strange to people, but actually being ill was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because had that not happened, I was always kind of someone that just went along with it. Like, life wasn't making me happy and excited, but like, I had the job, I had the relationship, I had the house, and that's what you're supposed to do. And I was kind of just like floating through life like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And it wasn't until something kind of happened like that just made me reevaluate everything. And I was like, I'm not settling anymore. That's not what life's about. And it was that then made me, rather than looking at Nikki's Instagram and being jealous of the freedom she had, it switched that jealousy to, if she's got it, I want it, and how can I get it? And that's when I reached out and I was like, please tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. What does leadership look like for you where you're currently at in your business?
I think leadership, it's changed a lot, because leadership I had quite a few like leadership roles in teaching, and that was always very different, because leadership to me in teaching was kind of like, I took on the role of doing everything for everyone, and very much like, don't worry, I'll do it, and and hence why I ended up so burnt out, because it was very much like, I've been given this responsibility, so I'm just going to do it all, and like not ask for help, basically. Whereas leadership in this business, in affiliate marketing, is completely different. The main thing for me is getting around people who have the growth in their business that I want in mine, and have the success and have the level of freedom and the financial freedom that I want. So leadership for me, and how I'm growing my business and supporting the people that I mentor, is actually getting around those people that have what I want, and learning from them and asking questions and asking advice, and not trying to do it all on my own. So it's completely opposite. Like, I have never felt more supported, and it's made me such a better leader because of it, because I'm literally asking other people when I need help, and I'm not afraid. That's not a weakness to me anymore. Whereas in teaching, it was very much, I can't ask for help because they'll think I can't do it, so I'll try and do it all on my own.
Sort of goes to show the power of having a community, doesn't it? And you know, you don't sort of get that in any other sort of vocation, really. It's a really sort of cool thing in the realm of affiliate marketing.
Yeah, and it was definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. It was definitely uncomfortable at the beginning to kind of ask for help and like make those connections with people, because before it was very much, I just want to do it on my own because that feels safer. But actually, yes, it's out of my comfort zone, but I very much learned over the last year that literally everything out of my comfort zone is where the growth happens. So now when I start to feel uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I get why, but I know something better's come in, and I'm able to kind of, and that's why kind of like my recovery from chronic illness journey and the business journey have very much been like parallel to each other, because they're both the same thing. Whenever my fear and my like, oh, this feels uncomfortable takes over, it's very much like, okay, that's my brain trying to protect me from something, but actually I know that this is the way forward, and it's kind of like stepping into that outside my comfort zone. Whereas before I was very much, I'll stay where everything feels safe in my comfort zone. What
sort of sacrifices do you feel you had to make to get to where you currently are today?
It's funny, it's funny, the word sacrifice, because I don't feel like it has been a sacrifice in a way, because when I look at the alternative of what the alternative would have been, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice at all, because the alternative would have been teaching until retirement. And that was something that last summer I couldn't even comprehend. I was like, I'm not doing that. I refuse to believe that that's what my life is going to look like until I retire. So I guess in some way, the biggest thing for me has been like, how I respond to the people around me in my life that probably didn't necessarily understand what I was doing and why I was starting this business. And it came from a complete place of love and them wanting to protect me. But because they didn't have the understanding behind it, sometimes you can get other people's fear-based opinions projected onto you. And I think in the past, like before this business, it was very much a case of I listened to what everybody said and I let them kind of make the decisions for me. I wasn't ever very good at going, no, this is what I want to do. Yeah. And so I think one of the things I've kind of had to learn is that it's okay if people don't understand. Yeah. You don't need them to, like, you don't need their full support in the beginning. It comes down to actually, what do you want to do? You know the life that you want to get to. Yeah. And you know that what you have been doing hasn't been leading you there. So it's kind of, I think I got to that point where I was like, thank you for your opinion. However, yeah, I'm doing it anyway. And that was never me before. But I think looking at what the alternative was, I mean, people say that teaching is such a safe and secure career, but I've never felt less safe or secure. Like mentally and physically, it took such a toll on me that actually I got to a point where I was like, I understand what you're saying, but you don't need to project your fears onto me. Right. And I think that was a big learning curve. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's having that ability to make informed decisions, isn't it? And, you know, as well-meaning as some of these people are, relatives, friends, yeah, they're just not going to know what it takes to be successful in the area that you want to be. And obviously, like, to your point, you know, like aligning yourself with people who are already doing it and who are already successful, then you're going to get the right information to make that sort of informed decision, I guess, going forward. Sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was just a case of like learning to prioritize myself and my business, which I'd never really done before. I was always kind of thinking about everybody else and what everybody else thought of me. Yeah. And then again, with like the chronic illness stuff, when you've been told so many opinions by doctors that you're never going to get better and you're going to be like this for the rest of your life, because I'd kind of been able to not listen to those opinions and get better, I used that as well, because I was like, if I can do that, then I understand what you're saying, but I don't have to listen to it, and I can still go after the life I want. Because, and that goes back to what I was saying before, like when you were asking about the leadership stuff, it's literally surround yourself with the people who have what you want and listen to them, because they literally have what you're working towards and they can tell you the mistakes they made or how they got there. And actually, if you're listening to the people around you, yes, they love you and they're trying to protect you, but ultimately they're not living the life that you want.
Yeah. You're talking there about your recovery as well. Have you heard of a guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza? This is totally like off subject, but well, slightly, but yeah, it's so fascinating, isn't it? Like the sort of research he does about health and like mindset and how, you know, it can just change your whole experience. Just really fascinating. Like I love the whole metaphysical sort of angle he takes on it as well.
He was really he was kind of the reason my recovery started, was because I heard all of his stuff, right, and then basically started looking into that whole mind body world, and then found a podcast online, and then it all just went from there. Yeah, I have the same one.
Yeah, can't see it on the thing, but yeah, nice. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And it's literally that whole idea, and I literally apply now the same thing to everything in my life, not just the chronic illness stuff, because now I'm completely healed, symptom-free, don't have any of the diagnosis that I was given, but it applies now to everything in my life, because I genuinely believe I can do anything. And so when people are telling me I can't, I'm like, well, watch me, because I just, for 2 years, everybody told me that I was going to be like housebound for the rest of my life, and I just couldn't accept it. And I was like, this is not how my life goes. And so I do that with everything, like in business. And I think you do just have to, and it's hard because there's so much noise out there, but you know the life that you want, and it is literally, it's right there waiting for you. You just have to go after it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, no, yeah, incredible, really inspirational. What top 3 books would you say have helped you the most in your personal development?
I actually, probably a controvert, well, I haven't read any. And the reason is because I have always been someone that's very good at learning things and doing all of the learning, but then not putting it into practice and not having the action part of it there. So again, when I was recovering, I'd read all of the books, like the one you just held up, and then I wouldn't go and apply it. And
Sound like me.
It's all well and good doing all of the learning, but then not applying things. So with the business, I kind of, it's not that I haven't done any of like the personal development things, but I've kind of switched it around. And so I just showed up to the business, started, like, did the training, listened to what people were telling me, did the community calls, and started my business and started working on it. And what I found was, like, I would come up against limiting beliefs along the way. And if and when one of those popped up, it was then that I kind of went to find a podcast to listen to, or like I'd listen to a book on like Spotify or whatever. And it was kind of that way round rather than reading all of the books first.
Yeah.
It was the other way, and kind of finding what I needed. So like, if I was going through a period of like procrastinating, I would then search for like a podcast, a Mel Robbins podcast on procrastination, and do it that way instead. And it was like fitting the personal development to what I needed, rather than trying to read all of the books and not taking the action, because I know I'm really bad for that in the past, doing all of the learning, reading all of the things, but then not actually implementing it or taking action.
It's almost like you're sort of using like research as like a way to sort of procrastinate and actually not get done the most important priorities, sort of thing. But yeah, that's a great way to do it. And I remember, Nikki saying about the benefit in reverse engineering your journey, and in some ways that's maybe unintentionally what you were doing there as well. So yeah, it's worked out.
Like so many things come up along your journey, like limiting beliefs or just areas that you can improve on. And I think sometimes it's more beneficial to just act on it when it comes up. Like, as long as you have that awareness, like I went through a period of like not being as consistent as I wanted to be and not seeing the results because of it. And so that's when I kind of went into, right, what can I read or what can I listen to about discipline and consistency, and what's the reason that I'm not being consistent. And then actually it came down to the fact that, well, I didn't believe I was ever going to get there, because I didn't believe I was worthy of getting the results I wanted, which is why I was then not being consistent.
Wow.
And I think having that awareness, like, as things pop up through your journey, and then going to find things that can support you, is sometimes better. Because I know a massive part of my procrastination, like you just said, I would find things to do that were making me feel like I was doing something. So like I'll go and listen to this podcast for an hour because that's making me feel like I'm busy, but I'm not actually working on anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You're not hitting your what do they call it? Key performance indicators. Or
yeah.
What's one thing that you might have done differently on your business journey, if applicable, or would you have done it all the same? Start sooner than I did. Yeah.
I know it's like hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I would have loved to have started sooner than I had done. But I think it's so important because everyone goes on a journey with it. And like I said to you, being ill was the best thing that could have happened, because I think had I not been through that, I never would have reached out to Nikki. I would have always been one of those people like on the sidelines watching her journey and never asking. Yeah. I think everybody kind of gets one of those moments in their life where they go, right, enough is enough. It's time for me to take some action. But the thing I probably would have done different was be more consistent at the beginning. And obviously that's easy to say looking back, but I think I very much at the beginning, when I was looking at other people like Nikki, would feel like there was an element of I still can't get there, like a bit of self-doubt and not having that self-belief. And actually what I've learned now is the business model works, and it works for anybody as long as you show up. But I think it was a bit of like a self-sabotage thing, I guess. If I'm not being consistent and I'm not putting 100% in, I won't be disappointed if it doesn't work. And I had to kind of really look at that belief and actually think, no, I am deserving of this. And I if Nikki can do it, I can do it. And I think it really helps, like, being involved in the community and going to events and meeting Nikki and seeing that literally everybody is just a normal person. And it was that then gave me the self-belief that then made me start becoming more consistent and then obviously start seeing the results. And I think I was kind of holding myself back at the beginning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sort of dipping your toe into it a little bit, kind of. Yeah, I've heard similar, like some people feeling like they maybe treated it a bit more like a hobby than a sort of business, but it's I guess, like you say, that consistency and what you're able to put into it. But that sort of goes into the whole thing of like, how much energy do you have alongside, your current trajectory of your sort of vocation, because you've only got so much energy and time, I guess, but just those sort of little things that you do just all add up, don't they? It's just
yeah. And I think that's the thing. It was prioritizing my business my business was plan A. And I think what really helped was looking, like I said before, at the alternative. Like, yes, I'm really tired, but if I don't do this right now, like, the alternative is to be teaching until retirement. And that is not that is not what I want to do. And it was always reframing it like that so that my business was my priority. So I've always done my business stuff in the morning because that works best for me. And it's about kind of treating it like a job, because it is my job, and getting up, sitting down, doing my business tasks. And then I have, obviously, now that I've left teaching, the rest of the day is mine. But it's prioritizing yourself and your business, because ultimately that is the way that you get the future you want, you get the freedom you want. So yeah, I think it's just reframing it. But definitely the thing I would change if I could was being consistent from day one. But then again, everything, like, you have to go on this journey where you realise these things along the way. There's so many things I've done on the way that actually were mistakes or little things I would change. But that's the brilliant thing, because the people I mentor now can skip all of those bits, because I can be like, this is what I did, this is what I would do differently, and they can kind of bypass some of those mistakes that I made.
Yeah, you sort of get to stand on your mentor's shoulders, so to speak.
Yeah.
What kind of person would you say this business is not for?
I think it kind of goes along with what we were just saying, that someone who isn't willing to put the work in, because it isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. That's not what it is, and that's not like what we would ever say it was. But actually, this business model works, and it can completely change your life, but you have to put the work in.
Right, yeah.
And I think anybody that comes into this and invests and thinks, actually, right, they've all changed their lives, it's going to happen for me, but then actually you don't do the work, it isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But this business is for anyone that is willing, anyone that wants to make a change in their life or wants to improve things. And it's not even about, like, everybody talks about, like, leaving jobs or quitting jobs, but actually it's not even about that. Like, you might really love your job but just want some extra income or something to work on that's yours and for you, and that's great too. It's literally for anyone who is willing to show up and put the work in. Because it can completely change things. And I think it's funny when people talk about, like, everyone uses the word freedom, but freedom is literally, it means different things for different people, and ultimately it comes down to choice. Like, that's what freedom means. It's having the choice to do whatever you want to do with your time. So obviously when I was teaching, pretty much every hour of my day was dictated what I was going to be teaching, where I needed to be, what I needed to do, when I was eating my lunch, all of it. Yeah. And I was very much living for the weekend, and then often I'd get to the weekend, still have some work to do, or be so tired, like I didn't want to do anything else. And now it's very different. Like I can just wake up and go, okay, what am I going to do today? And that's what freedom is. It's having that choice. And so, yeah, as long as you're willing to show up, do the training, follow the steps, and put the work in, then it'll work. It's just not for you if you think that it's going to kind of be a get-rich-quick thing that happens to you.
If someone was watching this right now on the replay and were interested in pursuing affiliate network marketing, what advice might you have to offer them?
Go for it. Literally go for it, because like I said before, that life that you want in your head that feels a little bit like out of reach and maybe like a dream, it's literally waiting for you. Like if you'd have told me last July that I was gonna not be teaching, I would have a van and a dog and have a successful business, I literally would have laughed at you, because I had never dreamed of owning my own business, never thought I ever would. And all of it just felt like this kind of dream in my head. But it is literally waiting for you, and you have to take action. Because I think the thing for me was, like, every year I was starting teaching and I was going, oh, I don't like this, but I'll just do it for one more year, because actually I wasn't making any different choices. And I needed to start making different choices and taking action for things to change. Right. Otherwise, I literally would have done that on repeat until I retired. So just go for it. Like, so much is possible, and you literally just need to take that first step, whether it's like watching the free training or signing up to a community. It's literally that first step. And then from then on in, it is literally taking messy and perfect action and showing up. When I started this and I started talking on my Instagram stories or posting things or any part of it, I had, like, it was very much, I was learning, I was nervous, didn't, like, scary, I really didn't want to do it. My first Instagram story, I remember walking down this street that's, like, really quiet because I couldn't record it in the house, and I recorded it about 5 times. I had no idea what I was saying. I think I was just talking about my breakfast, and it is literally, I just showed up. It was messy, it was imperfect, and that's what I've done, and that's what I tell the people I mentor, like, just keep showing up in a messy and imperfect way, but be consistent. And then you become more confident. I don't even think about talking on my stories now. Like, it's just something that I do because actually I've practiced it so many times. But I think it's easy to look at people that have been in the business a while and think they know what they're doing. And it very much started in a place where I was just following the training. I relied on a community that had the training, that was telling me what I needed to do, following a business model that so many other people had already followed, and just showing up. That was it. And so, go for it. And you don't have to know anything in the beginning. They're just new skills. It's like anything. I mean, when I started teaching, I'd got my degree, but when I walked into the classroom for the first time, I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. Like, for the first few weeks and months, I was learning from other teachers in the school and making mistakes and getting it wrong and working out how to mark books and plan lessons. And it was all new to me. And it's just the same thing. It's literally learning new skills.
So how did you manage to sort of grapple with that sense of overwhelm then, when you're sort of like learning like new stuff?
I very much just broke it down into small, like, little, I didn't try and do it all at once, because that was what, like, old me would have done. I would have tried to do everything all at once to try and get it perfect. That was another thing with me. Like, I was a massive perfectionist and everything had to be right.
Relatable,
Literally. And that's why I completely burnt myself out with teaching, because I was doing it all. I was trying to do it all perfectly. I was scared of failing. I was bothered about what people thought of me. And so this business has been like a complete, like, 360 on that, because I think I just learnt to be okay with feeling uncomfortable.
That's powerful.
And that comes with practice. Like, nobody likes feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So when I was recording my first Instagram stories, it felt really uncomfortable because I'd never done anything like that before. Like, I'd never posted on my personal Instagram, nothing. But the more the tiny little steps you take like that, and the more you realise that the world doesn't end after feeling uncomfortable or while you're feeling uncomfortable, the more you realise you can do things. And so genuinely now, because of the illness stuff and the business stuff, whenever I get something and my brain's like, what if, or like it's saying all of the things and it's really noisy, I can literally be like, okay, brain, thank you, cool, and then do it anyway. And it's like this thing I've got with my brain now where I know what it's doing, and I can just kind of override it and be, great, thanks, brain, and do what I want to do. It does it all the time. Like, when if I've not been in my van for a little bit of time and then I go, right, let's go on a trip, my brain will be like, yeah, but you've not driven it. Are you sure you can drive a van? Are you okay? And it like starts all of these looping thoughts, and I'm like, great, brain, thanks. And I think taking the action, even if it's a tiny small step, and being uncomfortable, you're then proving to your brain that actually you can deal with being uncomfortable and it's okay. It's not a nice feeling, but it's okay, and you're still okay. And then it just goes from there.
It's quite interesting to me what you're talking about though. It's like biologically evolved, isn't it? It's sort of like the going back to your point, like the fight or flight response is kicking in. It's like to protect us from, like, you know, thousands of years ago. You know, when we were like hunter gatherers, but it's now sort of almost, I wouldn't say completely outdated, but it doesn't serve us a lot of the time these days. It's just kind of like, you know, are you sure you want to do this thing or whatever? And it's like, yeah, sort of, but it's still useful, I suppose. But just the way that you deal with that is, you know, you've just got to be very conscientious about it.
It's when I think for me, when you have that understanding of how your brain works and why it's doing what it's doing, it takes all the power away from it. Because like at the end of the day, your brain, when your brain's being really noisy and you've got loads of thoughts and what ifs and all of that kind of stuff, actually your brain is doing what it's programmed to do. Like you just said, it is designed to protect us. That is the purpose of it. And so actually when it's doing that, it can be easy to be frustrated at it, but actually it's doing what it is there for. And all we need to do is understand that it's not like when we have like anxiety or anxious thoughts, it's not something to be scared of. We just need to help it understand that the thing it's anxious about actually isn't a threat, because what your brain is doing is scanning for threats. And like when it's your brain thinks you're being chased by a lion, so it's like, right, put you into fight or flight. And actually it's not being chased by a lion, it's just that we're doing an Instagram story. And we need to just show our brain through experiences, through doing it, that actually that isn't a threat and it doesn't need to react in that way. And I think that's all I do now, and that's how I recovered, was because I was so terrified of all the symptoms I was experiencing. It was flipping that and understanding that those symptoms were being switched on by my brain because it was sensing a threat. And when you take that kind of fear away, your brain goes, okay, we're all right. Like driving the van isn't scary. Doing an Instagram story isn't scary. And it's just like feeding it new evidence.
So you know that, yes, I can survive like this situation. It's not actually, you know, as threatening as I'm perceiving it to be, kind of thing. Wild. Brilliant. Cool. Well, we got to the end, so that was really cool. If people want to know more about what you do, where can they find you online?
So my Instagram is at creating_the_escape.
Brilliant. Awesome. Well, look, Sam, thanks ever so much for your time today. And
thank you for asking me.
Yeah, pleasure. And I look forward to your journey.
Cool. Thank you.
Nice one. Cheers. See you later.
Bye.